Hello again, this is Javier Bastardo, and welcome to another episode of Hablemos de Bitcoin, a podcast by Satoshi in Venezuela. Today we are going to have Nicolas Burtey, that is part of Galoy. They are helping the guys of Bitcoin Beach with their wallet. But before, we are going to have a message from our sponsors, Leden, Bitrefill, and Hodl Hodl. Hablemos de Bitcoin is sponsored by Leden.io, a suite of services that help you earn more Bitcoin and digital dollars. Leden products would let you earn interest, ask for USD loans, and get credits to buy more Bitcoin. Their savings account in USDC and Bitcoin in cooperation with Genesis would give you the best rates in the market, working with one of the more prominent and known institutions in the industry. Leden has an exclusive service called B2X that will use your Bitcoin to take a credit and buy the same amount of Bitcoin. And if you need dollars, but you don't want to sell your Bitcoin, you can get a Bitcoin backed loan in 24 hours and you will not need to sell. Do you want to put wings on your Satoshis? Learn more at Leden.io. Remember to visit their website to know the rates. And now we're going to have a message from Hodl Hodl, that is a P2P market with no KYC and not custody of your funds. You will be transacting in a private way using multi-signatures of Bitcoin protocol. You will also have the option to use their Leden service that works in the same way, without KYC, with no custody, and in a user-friendly way. Hodl Hodl. And finally, Bitrefill. Bitrefill is the easiest way to live through your Bitcoin. Remember that you will find almost 300 different options to buy gift cards through the platform. So yes, it is easy to live with Bitcoin thanks to Bitrefill. And well, please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Well, great, we are here with Nicolas, that is here in Hablemos de Bitcoin for the first time. Pretty nice to have you, Nicolas. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Well, Nicolas is part of Galoy, and we will know more about that company. But before, tell us a little about you. Who is Nicolas? How your last name is pronounced?
Birthday.
Okay, Nicolas Burtey. Who is Nicolas Burtey? And also, when did you discover Bitcoin?
So I really went deep into Bitcoin in 2019, but I basically discovered, I would say, crypto in 2017. I was developing virtual reality software at this time. It was interesting because on VR blog we start seeing articles saying, hey, this is why your price of GPU is increasing. It's because you have miners that buy all the GPU out there that is available, and so the price. And for me, like I was developing on top of GPUs for my VR company, and it made no sense that we have higher GPU price. So I was like, what is a miner anyway? And so I look into Ethereum at this time and work in the I would say EVM space for about a year. But then I learned about the economic side of things. And this is when I understood that, like Bitcoin is really the thing that I should be focusing on. And so I left my current company and I started Galoy in 2019 with the idea that, I want to work full time in Bitcoin. I want to find something. I want to provide some value to the Bitcoin space. So this is how, the whole journey started on my side for Bitcoin.
Okay, and what was the thing that made you like think that Bitcoin could be a thing that worth to working because you know that many of the thought that people used to tell about Bitcoin is because they don't find Bitcoin worthy to buy anything, any instance. So as you are working in Bitcoin related projects, I want to know why was the thing that convinced you to work with this kind of technology?
I mean, why Bitcoin is because I think money is broken today, and I think Bitcoin is our, unique chance to have some money again. And I think the world will be in a better place if we get some money, right? If we separate money from government, we'll have probably better government, right? More accountable government. So this is why, like, I believe into Bitcoin. No, but the technology part, I on my side, I really work on Lightning. So I really work on the payment part of Bitcoin. Right? Like if you think about money, what is money? Money is like a store of value, a medium of exchange, and a unit of account. And I think the store of value, there are, it's still not the convention that Bitcoin is store of value, but there is like hundreds of millions of people that believe that yes, Bitcoin might be gold 2.0, right? It might be a good store of value. The fact that Bitcoin can be used as a medium of exchange, right, as a payment mechanism, it's not something that is very widespread today, and this is what we are focusing on at Galoy, is to show that Bitcoin is actually a very good payment system as well, right? It's not only a store value, it can be a good payment system. And this is where Lightnings come, right? Like the layer 2 on top of Bitcoin that allow instant payments. So I can send money to someone that is at the other side of the planet, like instantly, and also with finality, right? After I send my payment, the person that receive it gets it. It's like, if I send in cash, but I can send cash, basically on internet.
Okay, well, nice, nice. We have yet another good argument to fight the fat. Okay, and you have already mentioned it, Galoy, so I want to know what it is and what are the projects that you are currently working on.
Yeah, so Galio is a company. The company I founded in mid 2019. We are developing software to build wallet. It's like a wallet as a service, or Bitcoin banking as a service. The idea is that if you want to have your own wallet in your own country, because you think there is an opportunity to bring Bitcoin to your country. Today, if you want to do that, you will have to develop your own software from scratch, and it will take a year, 18 months, and probably cost like $100,000, if not millions of dollars, to do so. And our promise is to have like an open source platform where if you want to have your own wallet, basically your own banking system on top of Bitcoin, you can use our software to do it. To make a proof of concept, and this is where we are known today, we have worked with a community in El Salvador called Bitcoin Beach, and we have deployed the Bitcoin Beach wallet, which is the wallet that is being used in El Zonte, so in the basically where it started in El Salvador. There is this small village of 3,000 people that start using Bitcoin, and I can dive into this if you want, but we work with this community to have like a wallet, a proof of concept that they have the wallet, they control it, and then right now it's going beyond the village. There is a lot more people that are using the wallet in El Salvador generally. But yeah, our goal is to help communities and enterprise have their own Bitcoin and Lightning wallet.
So basically, we can use Galoy's tools to create a wallet solution in any place that we can find, no? Something like that.
Yeah, this is a goal. I mean, we're still early, right? If you're a developer, you're watching this and you want to contribute, we are open source, so we would love to have contribution to help us move faster. But this is a promise. The promise is that you are in Venezuela and you want to have your own wallet, hopefully the law, allows this to have your own like custodial wallet. Then you could just fork a repository, and in a matter of weeks, you can have your own wallet and start your own business on top of it.
Okay, perfect. And I want to dive in a little in the experience working with Bitcoin Beach and the guys in the community, since you are the ones that are helping them with the wallet that they are using, the Bitcoin Beach wallet. So I want to know about the experience working with the community and how it is to create a solution that is being really useful in the real world.
So it's quite interesting to. So I start working on the wallet before I was there for a couple of months, and then I have traveled in a Zonte in year like in 2020, end of 2020. Some of the interesting insights is that you learn a lot by. I mean, we learn every day by making this wallet. Basically, there's a lot of assumptions that I had, that were not true. An example is that even though a lot of people use Lightning there, they still are thinking in dollar, which is the case of most people, right? We still think as a unit of account. If I come back to the definition of money, Bitcoin is not being adopted as a unit of account. So the price, if you want to buy, I don't know, some pupusas, which is a local food there, you will buy it for $1. You will not buy it for 1,500 sats. And for instance, very early in the application, the wallet, there was only sats, and so for me, sats make sense. And sats is units of account for the internet, and but after seeing people using the wallet, now it was obvious that no, we need to have like dollar for everything, and dollar go from the transaction fees, and even if when I look back in my history of transaction, I care maybe less about how much sats I sent, for the transaction I sent a month ago, but I care how much dollar I sent. So we need also to store the historical price. So it's one of the funny things that I discovered by being there. Another one is that internet is, when I was developing the wallet, like based in the US, internet is work very well in the US. There is no deconnection or network error or stuff like that. When I was there in Zonte, I discovered that no, internet connection is not as good, and there was like a lot of network calls that we were making that were failing, right? And so we had to implement in the wallet something that is automatic retry of a network call, right? If a network call, maybe we try to fetch the balance, or we try the list of transaction, and if it's failed, we should automatically retry. So there is thing like that was not pretty much necessary as I was trying it in the US. But when I was there, and I spent 3 months in El Salvador, when I was using it, I see a lot of issue. And to really understand the issue, you have to be living there for an extended period of time.
Okay. It is interesting since one tend to know more the user experience, the adoption, but from the user experience, not but by the people that are building the tools that we are using. So in the process of creating this tool, what have you learned so far about how you can improve the tools to help the adoption? Because it will not trigger the adoption at all, but at least it will help it to be more smooth. So I want to know what have you learned so far about this process of Bitcoinization, I don't know, adoption, fiat died, I don't know.
Yeah. So what I can what I see is that so in El Salvador, 70% of the population don't have access to a bank account, which is very high, right? It's like only 3 people out of 10 have a bank account. When you think about it, that's mind blowing. And the reason being, the El Salvador is using the dollar, the US dollar. And there is benefits to that. One benefit is that the inflation is reasonable, I would say. I mean, we know that it's getting higher currently, but it's probably better than Venezuela, for instance. And so using the US dollar have benefits, but have also downside. One downside is that all the US banks are subject to the regulatory framework of the US. And all the AML and KYC policies that actually cost a lot of money, the El Salvador banks need to have all these procedures. The result of that, the side effect of those policies, that it is not beneficial for El Salvador bank to onboard people that are not wealthy because they need to do all this documentation that costs money. And so, if you don't have enough money or enough income, like as a El Salvador bank, I'm not interesting to onboard you because like overall, I will spend more money that I will earn. And this is a problem with, fiat and all the regulatory burden that we have. And the benefit of Bitcoin is that, Bitcoin, there is no necessary permission needed to use Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin doesn't belong to anyone, and this is why we were able to launch, the wallet in El Salvador. When we launched, at the time there was no regulatory, framework for anything crypto, and so we could launch it and just see how it goes. It actually, went very well. Which is a benefit of Bitcoin, is that it doesn't care who you are, right? As long as you have a phone and you can onboard to the network, basically.
Yes, Bitcoin is open for anybody, and talking about the framework that is already about to get started, that is the Bitcoin law. I want to ask you your thoughts on this, since you are working with projects that are already on the Salvadorian ground, and you have this experience with this market. Do you think that we are about to see, I don't know, like the Bitcoinization of the economy of El Salvador, or it will be a slow process? I don't know. Tell us your thoughts about it.
There's a lot of things to say about the law. The first thing is, I don't think imposing Bitcoin on people is necessarily a good thing. I think it's better if they discover it about themselves. And we have seen some politicization about Bitcoin when it has become law. Prior to La Ley Bitcoin, people were looking at Bitcoin for what it was. They had a very neutral opinion about it. Maybe they liked it, maybe they didn't like it. But now it's a little bit like, if I'm, on the opponent party of the president, like I don't like Bitcoin because Bitcoin is the money of the president. And does it make sense? I'm not sure, because Bitcoin is made to be apolitical, right? But now it's become a very political discussion point in El Salvador. That said, I think the fact that there will be millions of people that will be exposed to Bitcoin in the following year in El Salvador is great, because it's helped to develop all the tooling to be integrated with the merchant. Like it is a broad education campaign for Bitcoin, and I think overall that's a great thing, right? So the more people are exposed to it, I think the better it is. It's still unclear whether Bitcoin will really be. It will be mandatory to accept Bitcoin. So if you look at the law said, if you're an economic agent, you're supposed to be able to receive Bitcoin, unless if you have some technical limitation. If you don't have a phone, for instance, maybe you cannot just receive and send Bitcoin. But there is also the fact that the president, of Bukele, the president of El Salvador, sent a few tweets like last week and say, Bitcoin will not be mandatory. So, it's unclear yet, to what extent people and company will have to use Bitcoin or not in the upcoming weeks and months and years. I think also the country is not yet ready for it, because the law was passed with a timeline of 3 months, and it's really a law about accepting Bitcoin as a payment system, not necessarily as a store value. The government says that if you want, we can help you to convert, the Bitcoin to receive to USD instantly, and therefore it's really using Bitcoin as a network, not using Bitcoin as a store value. And I think there is some very positive element here because there is a network effect to the Lightning Network. If more countries start being plugged into the Lightning Network, suddenly you have this instant payment system that is cross-border, and this is a network that could grow very exponentially in the coming year, I believe.
Okay, and you already mentioned this, but I want to go a little deep dive down onto the topic of this idea of the state enforcing the use of Bitcoin. That we could find it problematic in the law. That the people that is against the law in El Salvador is almost 100% against the seventh article, and also that this almost against the Bitcoin ethos, that we are trying to uh, keep the state aware of the monetary politics. So this is kind of contradictory with the stance of Bitcoin. So do you think that we need in this process of Bitcoinization, that we really need this state-backed adoption, or this is only one path? Or I don't know, what are your thoughts on the state enforcement of Bitcoin? Okay, we are almost there with the answer of Nicolas, but before, we are going to have a new message from Bybit, that is another sponsor of Hablemos de Bitcoin. Hablemos de Bitcoin is also sponsored by Bybit. Bybit is a cryptocurrency exchange that provides trading and mining services, as well as an API support for private and professional clients around the world. Launched in March 2018, Bybit is one of the fastest growing cryptocurrency exchange with over 2.5 million registered users. Bybit is committed to create a fair, transparent, and efficient exchange environment and offers 24/7 multi-language customer support to provide assistance in a very fast way. Derivatives products currently offered on Bybit platform are reverse perpetual contracts, USDT perpetual contracts, and BTC USDC and ETH USDT quarterly reverse future contracts. In addition, Simplex is already available on Bybit, so you can buy crypto on Bybit with your local currency. Learn more at bybit.com.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I think forcing people to use Bitcoin might not be the best way for people to adopt it. But I still think that's an experiment that will benefit Bitcoin overall, because one example I have is that today for the Lightning Network, we don't have too much solution for merchants to easily accept Lightning. For instance, something that could be deployed easily. And it is something on our side we're working on, right? Like merchant solution to, let's say, Walmart, right? Walmart is in El Salvador. It's one of the biggest company in the world. And the fact that they are exposed to the Lightning Network, and they will have to think about, hey, how can we accept Lightning Network in our stores in El Salvador, and they work on this and they develop some solution. Same for McDonald's and same for Tesla. So Tesla will be forced to accept, I guess, Lightning and Bitcoin. in a couple of days now, and it's a useful experiment because then a lot of this company will have to develop the tool and with maybe in together with Bitcoin company. And this experimentation, will help like having all these tools for merchants, right, in the coming year. And then if other country want to adopt Bitcoin, then the tool will already be here. Hopefully there will be a lot of open source solution available, so that we can easily replicate this in other country. So this is the positive element to Bitcoin, to the Bitcoin law at least.
Okay, okay. And what do you think about Lightning? You already mentioned it too, this second layer solution, but I want to ask you, since you are working building tools over the Lightning, I want to know what are the potential that you see in this second layer solution for Bitcoin? What are your thoughts on the actual state of Lightning Network? If it is fulfilling the expectations that people have in Lightning, or do you think that I don't know, I don't know. Tell us, what do you think about Lightning?
I think Lightning works. I think. I mean, we are currently facilitating thousands of payments every day, and that just works. I mean, it doesn't mean. I mean, the fact that it works for thousands of people. So we currently have about 35,000 users on the Bitcoin Beach wallet, and it's working well. It's another thing to work with like 6 million people, and I think we need to. There is still a lot of work to onboard, El Salvador to the Lightning system. But yeah, I think Lightning works. I think Lightning is what it's a missing piece for Bitcoin. Layer one is good for store value. Layer two, brings a medium of exchange. Brings this system that make it instant finality, and yeah, Lightning just works a bit.
Okay, and if you, o sea, if you are seeing the adoption of Lightning in a country that is making Bitcoin legal tender, but this is not the current situation in all the countries. So there will be places where will be more useful or less useful to use this kind of solution. What is the potential of Lightning in, I don't know, countries in Latam, or in countries like Nigeria, or it is a more useful tool in developing countries?
I think it's useful for every country, but I see the adoption about the Lightning Network being first and foremost in developing country. And you already mentioned Latam and Africa. I think this is where the adoption will come from. As a business, at Galoy, our goal is to deploy wallets in other country, and so we're in touch with entrepreneurs in Peru, in Panama, in Colombia, in Nigeria, in Cameroon, and yeah, they all share the opinion that Lightning can be used as. Then with Lightning you can use Bitcoin as a medium of exchange, and this is where a lot of the opportunity arise, right?
Okay. And well, you are organizing an event that is Lightning related, that is adopting Lightning, and it will happen on November. But please tell us what is that? What will the people that attends will receive in the event, and any information that you can share with us about the event?
Yeah, so we are making an event called actually Adopting Bitcoin, not Adopting Lightning. The full title is Adopting Bitcoin, a Lightning Summit in El Salvador. It will be between the 16th of November and 18th of November, and it is split into locations. The first 2 days are in an hotel called the Sheraton, which is one of the top hotels in San Salvador, in the capital city. And the third day is in El Zonte, so where Bitcoin Beach started. The reason we have been doing this, we have decided to do this conference, is because I met multiple CTO and CIO of the banks in El Salvador, the large banks. And, for them, Bitcoin is very new, and they don't really understand the difference between Bitcoin and all the other altcoin, right? And so they are a bit lost. And I think by making this event, like we can help them. So hopefully, many of them will be at the event and they can learn more about Lightning as a payment system and why it is, a great payment system. And it's also an opportunity for the Lightning community, people working in wallet and exchanges, and to come and regroup and share their insights. So if you're in Latin America, I will encourage anyone to come. An interesting point is that to attend the conference, you need to pay with Lightning, so you need to already have a Lightning wallet and see and know how this works. But we intentionally, use like a Lightning only payment just because one, it works, and second, like at least we know everybody that is coming. They have a strong interest into this.
Using the tools that you are building, so that makes total sense. And finally, I want to ask you, what are the next steps that you will have in Galoy and after the event? And the law is almost here. Uh, we are 5 days ago, since we are recording 5 days before the 7th, and I want to know what do you expect? What are your next steps since the Bitcoin get started?
Yeah, on our side, the focus is to make sure like we can manage the inbound, the new users that may come. So I think I shared that we have about 35,000 users currently on the wallet. We don't know how many there will be in 3 months, so we spend a lot of time to making sure our wallet can scale to, like, if we have 1 million users in 3 or 6 months, we can have the capacity to onboard all those users. This is really our main focus. We have other features that we are adding to the Bitcoin Beach wallet. Currently, you can only receive you can receive BTC to the wallet, but we want to have USD, so you can receive both BTC and USD through Lightning. So the way the USD will work is like you receive sats, but it will be instantly converted to USD after receipt. And we also are working on a business account. So if you're like an enterprise and you want to have like a master account and some sub account, like let's say you're McDonald's and you have like 5 McDonald's in El Salvador, and each of them have like 5 terminals. So you need maybe 25 accounts. And so we're working on business account that can manage those use cases.
Okay, nice. So, well, thanks a lot for being in the pod today. If people want to reach you, we are showing your Twitter handle, and will be also in the episode notes. But, well, where they can reach you if they want to ask you about Galoy, about Bitcoin, I don't know.
Yeah, easy. Nicolas Burtey, so first name, last name on Twitter is the best way to reach out to me.
Okay, perfect. Thanks a lot, Nicholas, for your time and doing this episode. We learned a lot about how to build tools for the adoption path of Bitcoin. And, well, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah, if anyone, any listener have question, please feel free to reach out.